Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Koranitai Mayapur Kasi Jaya Koranitai Jaya Mayapur Kasi Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Shila Prabhupada ki jai Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. So thanks for joining. Give me 1 second. So let me share my screen. So we'll continue today on where it is. Okay. Okay, we'll continue from chapter 9. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we were here till chapter 5. We discussed a couple of days back, and then the day before yesterday we discussed about this nice pastimes of how Krishna used to, Krishna with the ball, his coward boys, and Balram, how they used to steal butter and do the pastimes like breaking the pots, giving butter and milk and yogurt to the to the monkeys and other things. A nice pastime we discussed, and today we'll continue back again from chapter 9 again. So let's go text 6. So as of now we have seen that how Lord Krishna, while Mother Yashoda was churning butter, Krishna came, and let's see what happens next. Text 6. Sanjat kopasphuritaruna dharam sandasya dadvi dadimanthana bhajanam bhitva mrishashuradrisad asamana raho janghasha heyangvam antaram gataha. Can someone please read translation? Anyone can please read translation?
Hare Krishna. Being very angry and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, Krishna, with false tears in his eyes, broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. Then he entered a room and began to eat the freshly churned butter in a solitary place. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So what happens now, as you see, okay, let's chant the prayers before we start the discussion. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. So as Krishna started, drinking milk from her mother, and as Mother Yashoda saw that the boil, the milk who were there in the oven, they started boiling out, and then Mother Yashoda kept Krishna aside, and she went to look after the boiling milk. And by the time, Krishna became very angry. And why Krishna became angry? As we seen a couple of days back, that he was angry because he was not being satisfied yet. He was drinking milk, but he was not satisfied. So he became angry. And by that, what he's doing now? He actually, with angry and biting his reddish lips, right, with his teeth, Krishna with false tears. So he has tears in his eye, but there's false tear, and by that false tear, Krishna broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. So right away there was the container of yogurt where Mother Yashoda was churning, and he broke it with a piece of stone. And then he entered into a room, beside a room, and where the freshly churned butter were there, and Krishna started drinking those things. Okay, so he started drinking, he started eating this freshly churned butter. Let's see what happens. So Prabhupada says in purport, it is a natural that when a child becomes angry, he can begin crying with false tears in his eyes. So Krishna did this, and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, he broke the pot with a stone, entered the room, and began to eat freshly churned butter. So it's normal, actually. We see sometimes as well, like how the kids they behave. They knew that, okay, if I try crying, I might get what I need from my parents, right? And that's how Krishna, by his false tear, he broke the pots, and he entered in a room where he's eating the freshly churned butter. His duty, actually. Let's see what happens next. Text 7. उत्तार्य गोपी सुस्तं पय पुनः प्रविश्य दृश्यं च द्रध्यमन्तकम् अमर अमत्रकम् भंगं विलोक्य शवसुस्तस्य कर्मस्तज जाहास तं चापि न तत्र पश्यति. Yes, Mangesh Prabhu, please translation it. Mangesh Prabhu, can you read last lesson, please?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Mother Yashoda, after taking down the hot milk from the oven, returned to the churning spot. And when she saw that the container of yogurt was broken and that Krishna was not present, she concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna.
Yeah,
Hare
so
Krishna.
when Mother Yashoda came back from by taking care of the hot milk, and as there was no one except Krishna, and then Mother Yashoda thought, no, it's only Krishna who actually has done this job, like breaking all the pots, and she started looking after Krishna. So Mother Yashoda, it's an interesting pastime where Mother Yashoda earlier she was remembering Krishna's pastime, and she was churning the butter, but now as she went to take care of the hot milk, Krishna broke the pots, so all the butter were all around there, and then Krishna hid himself. He didn't hide it. In fact, he went to another room where he started eating butter, the fresh butter. And meanwhile, when Mother Yashoda came back, she saw everything all scattered, or all the mess, and she understood very well that Krishna is not here, and this is the only Krishna was present before when I went, and it's very early morning, no one was here. So she concluded that the breaking of the pot was done by Krishna himself. Right, that's Prabhupada I mentioned in the purport as well. Seeing the pot broken and Krishna not present, Yashoda definitely concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna. There was no doubt about it. Right. Let's see. Text 10. उलुखलाङ्घ्रेर उपरि व्यवस्थितं मर्काय कामं ददतं शशि शिशिसितं हेयङ्गवं चौर्यविशाङ्किते क्षणं निरीक्ष्य पश्चात् श्रुतम् आगमशने. ये निवेदन माताजी.
Hare Krishna. Krishna at that time was sitting on an upside down wooden motor for grinding spices and was distributing milk preparations such as yogurt and butter to the monkeys as he liked. Because of having stolen, he was looking all around with great anxiety, suspecting that he might be chastised by his mother. Mother Yashoda, upon seeing him, very cautiously approached him from behind.
Yeah. So what happens now? So as Krishna entered the house in a room where he saw this butter, and what he did is actually, there was a window, you can say, and then he was anyway small to climb on the window, so he used the wooden mortar. So earlier, I think you might have seen in India, wooden mortar, they used to grind the spices. It's a kind of a mortar and then a big pole, and then you crush those with that, and it's one side whole and then one side is very heavy. So Krishna turned aside and he stand on those wooden mortar, and then from there he started distributing milk preparations such as yogurt and butter to the monkeys as he liked. So there's a nice pastime described that these monkeys, they're actually very intelligent in the Vrindavan. So they would come to Nanda Baba's house or palace only when Krishna is present there. They won't come otherwise. So as soon as Krishna goes out to Vrindavan with his for cow herding, with his cowherd boys and then the cows and calves, the monkeys also leave the place of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj palace, because they knew very well that when Krishna is there, he's going to feed us. Otherwise, they just goes away. So as Krishna was there in the morning, and the monkeys, they came there, and then Krishna started feeding them. So Krishna started giving them, but at the same time, he was very cautious. He was in great anxiety because he knew what he has done. He actually broken all the pots, and now he's distributing all this to monkeys. So he was suspecting that definitely my mother is coming behind, and then he was just looking around as well, like feeding to monkeys from the window. At the same time, he was also looking back, is mother coming or not? In that way, he was looking around. At the same time, he was giving the yogurt and butter to all the monkeys, and also he was eating by himself as well. And then, but Mother Yashoda is going to describe that Mother Yashoda knew where Krishna is, like how it happens, because the butter, the yogurt pot was broken earlier, right? And then it spread across there, and then Krishna, when he walked from there, he got his footstep in those, and then as he baby steps he walked, their footprints were there on the floor, and Mother Yashoda could find him very easily, that where Krishna has went. So Mother Yashoda very, very, very cautiously, very, very, very slowly, by putting his feet very, very firmly, she went beside and she saw what Krishna was doing. And that's why it says Mother Yashoda, upon seeing him, she very cautiously approached him from behind. So very, very, very carefully, that Krishna could not know that I am coming, and she stepped over there. And let's see, Prabhupada says in the purport that Mother Yashoda was able to trace Krishna by following his butter smeared footprints. Because of the footprint, because Krishna has stepped on those butter, and then it's very, very common that if you stepped on the butter, the footprints were there, and Krishna's footprints were there all over there. And she saw that Krishna was stealing butter, and thus she smiled. So this is the love and affection. She smiled by looking at Krishna's activity. Meanwhile, the crows also entered the room and came out in fear. So the crows actually they were there and they also flee from there. And thus Mother Yashoda found Krishna stealing butter and very anxiously looking here and there. So Krishna was anyway looking here and there. He will just see, because he was very much all the time looking around. Is someone coming, or is my mother is coming back? And as Mother Yashoda was coming very, very slowly, Krishna actually sees him. And let's see what happens next. तां यातस्मिन् प्रशमीक्ष्य सत्रशः स्ततो वरुह्या परशसार भीत्वत् गोप्य अनुवादवन्न यम् आपयोगिनां शमं प्रवेष्टुं तपरेषितं मनः. Is Tayal Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. When Lord Sri Krishna saw his mother's stick in hand, he very quickly got down from the top of the motor and began to flee as if very much afraid. Also, yogis tried to capture him as the Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord. With great austerities and penances, they failed to reach him. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that same personality of Godhead, Krishna to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. Hare Krishna.
Now Krishna has saw his mother, right? So let's see how it happens, how fearful mode it is. That's our first verse. First verse of our Damodar Ashtakam explains that Namami Swaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundale Namami Swaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam. So in the Gokul, Krishna is running. Right, so he's going around. Why? And when he runs around, his kundala in his earrings is actually is very nicely moving around in his cheeks. So that it says, so when Lord Krishna saw his mother stick in hand, so Mother Yashoda, when she saw Krishna, she got a stick in her hand. And what happens is he very quickly got down from the top of the motor and began to flee as if very much afraid. So Krishna was anyway, he knew very well that it's going to happen very soon, because I have done the mischief. I've broken all the spots, and also I'm feeding this butter to the monkeys. Mother Yashoda will be coming behind very soon. And as he was wandering, earlier we saw in one purport that Krishna was wandering around and he was looking around. He was already afraid, and now as he saw Mother Yashoda, he started running from there. And it's been described that although the yogis, they try to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerity and penances, they fail to reach him. So the yogis, they meditate for thousands and thousands of years to just to have a darshan of Paramatma and to enter into the effulgence of the Lord. Very, very much austerity and penances they used to perform, but still they fail to reach him. Right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well, Bhavanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. So that's how it takes very, very long time, even for the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. And Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita as well, in the 6th chapter, where he explains to Arjuna about what the best process. He says, Yoginam api sarvesanam mad gatinantar atmana sardhavan bhajate yomam samay yuktatam matah. So Krishna says that all these Ashtanga Yoga processes are there, but still from all these yogic practices, Ashtanga Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga is the topmost one. Sraddhavan bhajate yomam. Anyone who worship me with Shraddha, with faith, with love and devotion, right? That's the topmost one. And he says, this is my opinion, because this is the topmost devotional service. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that the same personality of Godhead, Krishna, to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. Right. So Mother Yashoda, she's unaware about that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. She always thinks that Krishna is my son, right? So that's how the Yogamaya takes care of here, that Mother Yashoda do not think Krishna as supreme Lord. Even Krishna also forgets that he is his supreme Lord. He just wanted to have this Vatsalya rasa with mother, right? And so Mother Yashoda, as Krishna started running, Mother Yashoda started running behind him to catch Krishna, right? And then we'll see the yogis, they could not catch hold of Krishna, but Mother Yashoda caught him. Let's see. Prabhupada says in purport that yogis or mystics want to catch Krishna as Paramatma with great austerity and penances, then they try to approach him, yet they cannot. Here we see, however, that Krishna is going to be caught by Mother Yashoda and is running away in fear. So Krishna, from whom everyone fears, right? And now Krishna is running out of fear. It's not possible for Krishna to be fearful. But to release the pastime with Mother Yashoda, he became fearful and he is running away from Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda, as the yogis, they cannot approach him, but Mother Yashoda is going to catch Krishna. This illustrates the difference between the bhakta and the yogi. The yogis cannot reach Krishna, but for the pure devotee like Mother Yashoda, Krishna is already God. And we'll see many verses, in many times Krishna has spoken earlier, that he is, Krishna is called, he says that, aham bhakta paradhino. So I'm actually adhina, I'm actually being controlled by my devotees. Like the example being explained, like if you see the kite moving in the sky from very far distance, it looks like sky is actually moving like it's by its own. But if we approach the kite, we see that the kite actually being string, there's a string and someone is controlling there, isn't it? And that's how Krishna is, though he says I'm independent, but at least he also says that I am actually being controlled by my devotees. That's only devotees that can control, no one else. Aham bhakta paradhino, right? No one else. And that's because of love and devotion. Krishna, he in this pastime, he likes to be controlled by the devotees. He likes, that's why he get controlled as well. So Krishna is already caught by the pure devotees, like Mother Yashoda, Prabhupada saying here. Krishna was even afraid of Mother Yashoda's stake. So Krishna, who is never fearful by anyone, even he says he is one who provides fearfulness to his devotees, isn't it? Krishna is the one, by taking shelter at his lotus feet, the devotees, they get the benediction of being fearless, right? The fearful cannot touch the devotees. By the blessing of Krishna, that Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda's sticks, and he's running away from Mother Yashoda. So this was mentioned by Queen Kunti in her prayer, Bhaya Bhavanaya Stitasya. Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda and yogis are afraid of Krishna. Right? So yogis try to reach Krishna by Jnana Yoga and other yogas, but they fail. Yet, although Mother Yashoda was a woman, Krishna was afraid of her, as clearly described in this verse. So it's been clear that Krishna is running away from Mother Yashoda. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Same Krishna, he is doing his pastime as a Balya Leela in Vrindavan, and Mother Yashoda is trying to catch Krishna from behind. We see the nice Damodar picture, isn't it? Mother Yashoda is running behind Krishna with a stick, and it's also been described that the stick, he says, oh Mother Yashoda, please forgive me, let me not touch Krishna. His stick also don't want it to be, touch Krishna. He don't want Krishna to be hurt by him. So he says, please don't beat Krishna with me at least. I don't want to get hurt Krishna. So that's how this prema and conversation going on between Mother Yashoda and the sticks as well. And we see, even in the past time, Mother Yashoda actually just making Krishna fearful of the stick, but she never beat him with a stick, right? It's just to make a fear in Krishna. And as Krishna is running, Mother Yashoda running behind him. Let's see what happened next. Text 10. Anvanchamana janani bruhullachalla चारोनि भराकारांत गति समुद्यमा जवेन विस्मृसिता केशबंधना च्युत पशूनांगुनगुतै परमार्स्तः. Who has not read it? Yeah, Vijay Prabhu, translation please.
Yes, Sir Krishna. While following Krishna, Mother Yashoda, her thin waist overburdened by her heavy breast, naturally had to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose and the flower in her hair were falling after her. Yet she did not fail to capture her son Krishna.
Yeah, so yet she did not fail to capture Krishna. So she caught Krishna, but still she's making an endeavor. She's running behind Krishna. And what happens is Mother Yashoda was a bit, she was heavy. It's and Krishna was running behind, running up before Mother Yashoda, and it's being described that the flowers just before this verse we discussed about the stick. The stick, he says, "Oh Mother Yashoda, please don't beat Krishna with this stick, right? I don't want Krishna to be hurt by me." And now the flowers saw that Mother Yashoda making an endeavor to hold Krishna. She is running, she is a bit heavy, in her weight, and she is running a bit slower, and she can't run fast. And the flower, what he thinks is that let me fall down so that the my weight can reduce a bit, the weight of Mother Yashoda. In that way, the flower reciprocates by falling from Mother Yashoda's body, from her ear. And then Krishna was running very swiftly. He was fast, and eventually Mother Yashoda catches Krishna. Let's see. Prabhupada makes it brilliantly. He says, Yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penances and austerities, but Mother Yashoda, despite all obstacles, was finally able to catch Krishna without difficulty. This is the difference between a yogi and a bhakta. Yogi cannot enter even the effulgence of Krishna. Yashya prabhava pravoto jagadanda kotisu. Brahma Samhita 540. In that effulgence, there are millions of universes, but yogis and jnanis cannot enter that effulgence even after many, many years of austerities, whereas bhaktas can capture Krishna simply by love and affection. This is the example shown here by Mother Yashoda. Krishna therefore confirms that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Right. So I'll repeat this line. Krishna therefore confirms that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Bhaktya mam avijananti yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tattvato gyatva visate tad anartaram. Bhaktas, Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 text 55, Bhaktas enter even the planet of Krishna very easily. But the less intelligent yogis and jnanis, by their meditation, remain running after Krishna. Even if they enter Krishna's effulgence, they fall down. Right. So it's not very good to be entering in Krishna's effulgence. Right. Rather going to the higher spiritual world where we can serve Krishna. Right. So that can only be done by taking the path of devotional service, and that Krishna explains in chapter 18 as well, right? How easily someone can enter to the spiritual world is taking the path of devotional service. So that's why it says bhaktas even enter the planet of Krishna very easily. If you see Narada Muni, the greatest devotee, he can go anywhere to the Vaikuntha Loka easily. right? No one restrict him. But the yogis and gyanis, they get till Krishna's effulgence with very, 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 very severe austerity and penances, very austerity, right? It's a very good, I mean, it's time taking as well as it's very austerity for body as well, so both are there. But in devotional service it's much quicker, depending upon in what intensity and what uh, uh, in the what mood we are taking devotional service. It can be easily possible to go to a spiritual world. So there are just such certain steps to be followed, as it is given by our acharyas, and then the work is done, right? So it depends upon our intensity to follow instruction by our acharyas, right? That is in that way we can actually take shelter of the Lord, and we can go to spiritual world, right? Okay, we'll take this verse as well, and then we'll stop today. कृतागसं तं परुदन्तम् अक्षिणी क्षणं अक्षिणी कषन्तम् अज्ञामाशिनी शवपाणिना उद्वीक्षणमानां भय विवलक्षणं हस्ते गृहीत्वा भिष्यन्ते अवागुरत्. पिंकी माता जी.
Yes, Hare Krishna. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender as she looked upon him. She saw that he was crying, his tears mixing with the black ointment around his eyes, and as he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to mm,
Chastise him.
chastise him. Hare Krishna.
So now Krishna has been called. So Krishna has been called by Mother Yashoda, right? So what happening? Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. So he now very well knew that, okay, I have no choice. I am just now in caught. It's like caught red-handed. So Krishna has been caught by Mother Yashoda, and as Mother Yashoda saw, he was crying. So his tears mixing with the black and ointment around his eyes. So like, because Krishna just woke up from the night, and especially in India still now you see, we used to put ointment, the kajal on the eyes, when the child used to go to sleep. It's still there. So the ointment, the black ointment, the kajal is still there in his eyes, and so he's crying. So the tears coming, and it's mixing with that ointment, and then he's rubbing as well, right? So by his rubbing, it's actually coming all over his face. And in one of the lecture I was hearing, Amrita Prabhu describes it that like he's not crying, Krishna not fearful, and he's just rubbing his eyes, and with the kajal he makes it black, right? And he's saying to Mother Yashoda, look, who am I? I'm Jagannath, right? So please, please be aware that I'm Jagannath. Please don't catch me, leave me, right? So he's rubbing his eye with both hand and making his whole big eye, black eyes, like Lord Jagannath have. So he smeared the ointment all over his face, and Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by her hand, mildly began to chastise him. So she threw the stick away, and she just, as a very lovingly, she's chastising him. Let's see the purpose mix. From these dealings between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, we can understand the exalted position of a pure devotee. in loving service to the Lord. Yogis, Jnanis, Karmik, and Vedantists cannot even approach Krishna. They must remain very, very far away from him, and try to enter his bodily effulgence. Although this also they are unable to do so. Great demigod like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva always worship the Lord by imitation and by service. Even the most powerful Yamaraj fears Krishna. Therefore, as we find in the history of Ajamil, Yamaraj instructed his followers not even to approach the devotees, so what to speak of capturing them? Right. In other words, Ajamil was also fears Krishna and Krishna's devotee. Sorry. In other words, Yamaraj also fears Krishna and Krishna's devotee. Yet this Krishna became so dependent on Mother Yashoda that when she simply showed Krishna a stick in her hand, Krishna admitted to being an offender and began to cry like an ordinary child. Mother Yashoda, of course, did not want to chastise her beloved child very much, and therefore she immediately threw her stick away and simply rebuked Krishna, saying, "Now I shall bind you so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities. Nor for the time being can you play with your playmates. So this is a punishment for you. I'll just bind you." This shows the position of a pure devotee in contrast with others like Jnanis, Yogis, and the followers of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies in regarding the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. So Mother Yashoda has just caught Krishna as of now. Krishna is fearful, Krishna is crying. Krishna, although another way, he's trying to show Mother Yashoda that I am Lord Jagannath, please, please leave me. Right. However, we'll see next tomorrow what happens, how Mother Yashoda started binding Krishna, and all the time she fails, and by the time she start binding Krishna, all the gopis they actually came around, and they are all looking at the beautiful pastime going on, and everyone actually they are laughing, and then they are enjoying the pastime, how Krishna is getting bound by Mother Yashoda. Right. Anyone have any quick questions, comments, or want to share something? Please feel free to on this concept today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. This was really beautiful. It's really nice. I just wanted to say one thing, Prabhu, like especially nowadays with all these child protection and I don't know what not, they're like parents shouldn't chastise and all that. I was just thinking, the Supreme Lord Himself, not in a loving way to correct the child, right? So chastising is necessary, but nowadays with all these rules and regulations, I don't know, people just want to not correct their kids also. So
Yeah, I mean this is not good at one context. Even Prabhupada says in his purport that it's a chastisement is necessary. It's not about that the parent they don't chastise their children because it's not that they don't like their children. They wanted their child should behave properly and should learn things as well. Like it's about for their own betterment. That's why no parents in this world would like to chastise or beat their children, right? It's just to teach them something good, right? And if you become very very kind of careless, not worrying about what my child is doing, uh, and we see what happening because of that, right? And even in India, if you see, still these things are going on. They are parents, the children, they fear. And Prabhupada says, even described how it can be taken care. Prabhupada says the very first 5-6 years, the parents should give too much love to their children, and even if they do some mistakes, they should forgive them in this age, and they should love all the time. And then from 5 till next 10, 12 years, and parents should be very strict toward the kids. And after that, the children, they should become as a friend of the parents, this way parents should treat the children, like, for very 5, 6 years, all full of love. Then from 6 to 12, 13 years, they should be very strict, so that, because this is the time where they can be in a discipline line. And then after 13, 14 or 15, you can say, they can behave as their friends and like that. So that's the way of Vedic way of correcting or living a life in a very disciplined way. That's kind of thing. So both is required. It's the parents don't chastise the son or daughter there. It's kind of making them in a very disciplined line. That's my thought is, isn't it?
Yeah, Prabhu. But even the first 5 years, I mean, they should be able to say to the kids the right and the wrong, isn't it, Prabhu? Just because
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Not chastise it, but yeah.
in a loving way, because like we see
Yeah.
yesterday when we saw about while Krishna makes the mistakes, even the gopis, they were laughing at Krishna, and as soon as Krishna smiles, they forget everything. That's Krishna past happening. But the
Yeah.
loving we get, as well as the kids, they need to be loved for the initial time. And sometimes when they tell lie, right, in the very initial time, they can be neglected. But when they grow up, they should not tell lie. Even very first time, if we teach a child not to lie, that will come up gradually as well, isn't it? So these are very few things which need to be taken care. Giving freedom is somehow or other, we are kind of not doing good to themselves actually. So in some couple of days back, I've been invited to the school to share something. I mean, some discussion about India, and then one of the child, I think in primary 6, my daughter's classmates. So and I think they loved the session. They asked a lot of questions to me. I think it was full of fun. And then in one of questions, they asked me that what you don't like in Glasgow. So that was next question: what you don't like in Glasgow. And I stopped a bit. I thought, as of now, they were all asking the question about what you like about Glasgow, what you like about India, what you miss about India, what this, what. But somehow this question came up: the what you don't like about Glasgow. And then I stepped back a bit and I thought for some maybe some 5, 6 seconds, and then I came up with the answer. And I felt very good. The answer I gave, that what I don't like is the teenagers here. The teenagers here, they start engaging in smoking and drinking things, so which I don't like. So I told them, you are going to be very soon teenager age, so please be careful. Don't indulge yourself in the smoking and drinking activities. It's not good for your health. It's not good for anything, right? You waste your money, and you waste your health, you waste everything. So this thought came to me, I don't know from where, but it's a good point actually. So if the parents, they can teach these things, it can change their life as well, the way they see things, isn't it?
Very, very important point, Prabhu. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Unfortunately, now things are changing in India itself.
Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Very, very helpful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. Hare Krishna. See you all tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.